Admiral Silex Tarun's flagship shuddered as the invasion fleet dropped from warp. He jabbed a talon at the holodisplay. Harvest the grain belt, burn the silos if they resist. No mercy for primitives hiding behind their dirt. Subprefect H.R.Al. Vosk nodded from the intelligence alcove. His frills quivered with approval. Human worlds crumbled under blockade hunger. This farm planet, Eridani 9, would kneel in days. Captain Mara Ven gripped her command chair as klaxons wailed across the orbital defense platform. Evac all civvies to the bunkers. Seed decoy transponders in the approach lanes, full pattern. Her XO punched the execute key. Pods jettisoned in silent arcs, vanishing into the debris field. Ven watched the holomap. Enemy signatures bloomed like weeds in the grain belt's shadow. She keyed fleet-wide. All ships ghost protocol, no emissions, let them chase ghosts. SGT. Juno Rask unsealed the vault hatch with a biometric palm scan. Frost billowed from the project graft crates. Kestrel's squad, feeding fire discipline. Consume hull alloys only on my mark, no freelancing. Unit K7 Kestrel stirred first biotech chassis unfolding from cryosuspension. Muscles rippled under aloe-veined skin, human baseline enhanced for polymer digestion. Kestrel's squad synced behind her, eyes glowing faint green. Protocols locked handler, target acquisition. Rask slotted nutrient packs into their ports. Enemy dreadnoughts inbound, board via grapples, metabolize frames to biomass output, repurpose as needed. She slapped the release. The squad surged into the launch bay, silent predators. Subprefect Vosk's console pinged with human chatter, frantic pleading. He waved a dismissive claw. Panic bursts, no coordination, green light close range blockade, tractor the platforms dry. Admiral Tarun leaned forward. Excellent, their quiet reeks of surrender. Form up the wedges, Reapers first. Vosk certainly hardened. Humans fielded crude kinetics and laser grids, no match for K-Zari plasma lances or Vor shield harmonics. Data scrolled clean, zero fleet signatures beyond decoys, inferior. Ven's picket corvette ghosted through the outer belt. Decoys mimicked grain haulers, perfect thermal ghosts. Inbound confirmed, Reapers at 5 light minutes. She tabbed Rask's channel. Sergeant, your bird's away. Affirmative, Captain. K7 squad deployed. Feeding windows open in 3. Enemy Reapers sliced into the lanes. Tractors latched decoys. Explosions bloomed empty husks. Tarun barked laughter across open comms. Fools, your belly's empty now. Surrender the belts or starve. Vosk cross-checked scans. Anomalies flickered, microdebris, no biosigns, he zoomed. Admiral, faint contacts on the hulls, boarding parties, Tarun scoffed. Boarding primitives with what? Crush them. Kestrel's squad hit the Reaper's ventral airlock like grapples from hell. Breach charges whispered, silent entry, Rask monitored from the dropship. Status. Inside, Kestrel subvocalized. Alloys detected, commence feeding. Her jaws unhinged. Enzymes flooded her gut. She bit into a bulkhead strut, titanium polymer weave. It dissolved in seconds, calories surging. Squad fanned out, metabolizing conduits, struts, deck plates. Green ichor webbed the corridors as they extruded combat forms, blade limbs from recycled armor, spore grenades from wiring insulation. Alarms shrieked on the Reaper's bridge. Crew clawed at stations. Intruders eating the ship. Vosk's frills flattened, feeds from the Reaper showed. Humans chewing metal. Impossible, bioreadings off-scale, Admiral, Tarun overrode. Plasma sweeps, purge them. But Kestrel's squad adapted. They burrowed deeper, repurposing enemy fire. A crewman fired, plasma bolts splashed off a squadmate's fresh chitin plate, smelted from the turret housing. The biosoldier lunged, jaws shearing the weapon. Feed. Grow. Ven's fleet watched the feeds. Reaper signatures warped mass redistributing. They're turning it inside out, her sensor chief whispered. Stay dark, Ven ordered. Rask, report. Feeding frenzy engaged, first ship at 40% conversion. Output boarding rams and spore clouds. On the Reaper bridge, Kestrel erupted through the deck. Crew scattered. She extruded a whiptail from devoured cabling, lashed out, injecting paralytics. Handler bridge secured, metabolizing core. Rask's voice cut clean. Negative on reactors, frame only, exit vector prepped. Admiral Tarun's wedge tightened. More pings, his Reapers convulsing. One imploded, biomass erupting in a green jet. What sorcery, flankers plasma barrage? Vosk hammered queries. Human archives showed no such troops. Biotech on a farm world. There. Reprogramming our hulls, pull back. Tarun's mandibles clicked fury. Disengage, I am Silex Tarun, advance the dreadnoughts. Kestrel's squad jetted clear as the Reaper bloated, now a grotesque bioram, hull sloughing into propulsion fins. It rammed the next ship, spore clouds swarming. Enemy crew choked on airborne enzymes, armor fizzing. Ven keyed all channels. This is Captain Ven, your harvest is cancelled, evac your wrecks or join them. Subprefect Vosk stared at the carnage. 8 Reapers gone, converted. Hunting their own fleet. Human farmers birthed this. His data certainty shattered, one bioplague at a time. Tarun roared. All ships fire on those things. But Kestrel's voice purred over hacked comms. Fresh alloys detected. Squad second course. Rask smiled in her dropship. Protocols held. The frenzy spread. Ven leaned back. Logistics checklist complete. No lives wasted. The grain belt waited silent. But now the crops hungered too. Kestrel's jaws parted wider. Dreadnought incoming. Feeding time. Captain Mara Ven's corvette bucked as the first converted Reaper rammed an enemy flanker. Green spores bloomed across the holodisplay. She tabbed tactical. Rask, vector your birds to the dreadnought wedge. Ven out. Sergeant Juno Rask rode the dropship's G-forces, eyes on her squad's vitals. K7 pulse steady, calories high, output optimized. Kestrel locked the big one. Strict discipline, hulls first, crew avoidance. Affirm, Kestrel replied. Her squad streaked through the debris, biotech forms streamlining into dart shapes from recycled polymers. Subprefect HRL Vosk clutched his console as Admiral Tarun's dreadnought shuddered. Scans screamed, borders on the outer hull. They're metabolizing the armor. Mass loss critical, Tarun whirled. Seal sections, vent them. But Kestrel's team chewed through. Jaws ground graphene plating to slurry. Enzymes cascaded, repurposing it into siege claws. They punched in her decks, a tide of green-veined horror. Crew fired wildly. Bolts glanced off fresh chitin. One biosoldier caught a plasma lance, dissolved it mid-blast, extruded a counter-lance from the slag. Stab, feed. Vosk fled to the aux bridge, frills limp. Human signals crackled, calm, procedural, no boasts, just efficiency. His models lied. Humans didn't fight like warriors, they farmed victories. Kestrel breached the engine bay, reactors hummed untouched per protocol. She directed the squad, struts to biomass, turbines to spore launchers. The dreadnought warped, turning on its kin. Rask monitored the bloom. Conversion at 62%, dreadnought now asset. Ven's fleet emerged from ghost mode. Kinetics hammered the chaos. All guns, selective fire, heard them to the belt. Tarun's bridge alarms wailed. His own ship rebelled, corridors greening. Evasive, signal retreat, too late. Kestrel's voice hijacked the fleetnet. All units join the harvest. Converted hulks swarmed, enemy ships dissolved in the frenzy. Vosk transmitted surrender bursts. Data final, humans turned invasion to feast. Captain Ven watched the rout, pragmatic, efficient. The farm world endured, but Kestrel's squad hungered still. More alloys called. Captain Mara Ven's fingers danced across the tactical holodisplay. Enemy destroyer signatures blinked red, closing on the farm world's outer defenses. Transmit surrender beacon, she ordered. Full spectrum priority override on their command net. Make it desperate, power fluctuations, life support failing. Her comms officer nodded, sweat beading on his brow. Beacon live, ma'am, they're biting. Ven watched the lead destroyer, Coalition Hull ID Cresh 9, peel from formation. Its engines flared, vectoring into low orbit. Perfect. The farm world's orbital farms hung like glittering webs below, silos of grain and biotech vats untouched. No need to waste them yet. Status on drop pods? Ven kept her voice level, logistics first, lives second. Pods green, SGT Rask reports ready. Ven nodded. Launch window in 30, ghost the rest of the fleet. We heard they feed. Cresh 9 loomed larger on scans. Its point defense grid swept space, hunting borders. Ven's bait worked. No human ships in sight, just a flickering colony beacon begging for mercy. On the alien bridge, Subprefect HRL Vosk's frills twitched with satisfaction. Scans confirmed. Human signals weak, scattered. No fleet mass, just primitives waving white flags. Accept intercept, Vosk signaled the destroyer captain. Secure the prize, record all tactics for the archive. Cresh 9 captain acknowledged, thrusters firing for capture orbit. Vosk leaned into his console. Humans boarded with shuttles, grapples breaching charges. Predictable. His models projected 92% containment. SGT. Juno Rask gripped the drop bay rails as the stealth shuttle shuddered. Alarms blared, re-entry in 10. Kestrel confirmed pod seals. Rask's voice stayed flat like checking cargo straps. Unit K7's lead, Kestrel responded over suit comms, voice modulated comm. Seals nominal, squad hunger baseline, awaiting hull contact. Rask punched the release. 7 disposable pods ejected, ablating shells glowing cherry red. They streaked toward Kresh 9 dorsal spine, no thrust signatures, just falling meteors. Pods on target, Rask monitored. Impact in 5, no alerts from enemy scans. The shuttle ghosted away, cloaked in the planet's magnetosphere. Rask ran protocols, enzyme reservoirs full, metabolic inhibitors armed, treat them like volatile chems. No risks. Pods slammed hull. Magnetic clamps bit alloy. Kestrel's world narrowed to vibration and chem scans. Hull composition, titanium graphene composite, standard coalition grade, digestible. Breaching, Kestrel signaled squad, jaws unhinged, mandibles laced with biotech slicers. Enzymes flooded oral glands. She latched onto an access spine seam, teeth grinding. Alloy slurry poured. No plasma torches, no explosives, just chew. Bulkhead yielded. Nanite-assisted acids softened bonds. Kestrel swallowed the first bite, polymers breaking down in her gut bioreactor. Repurposed, chitin reinforcements for her forelimbs. Squad followed. Green-veined hides pulsed as they tunneled. Corridor breached. No alarms yet. Crew quarters ahead. Subprefect Vosk's primary display flickered. Kresh 9 transponder stuttered. Report, Vosk demanded, frills stiffening. Destroyer captain's voice crackled. Hull impacts minor. Deploying security drones. Human borders confirmed. Static. Vosk's secondary feeds lit up. Drones launched, swarming the spine. Optics captured shadows. No vac-suited figures. No weld sparks. Amplify drone records, Vosk ordered. Capture boarding tactics. Primitives always repeat errors. Drones closed. Feeds sharpened, not borders. Shapes clung, burrowing. Jaws worked metal like wet clay. Hull plates vanished into gullets. Green fluids sprayed, dissolving seams. Vosk's crest flattened. Impossible, reanalyze composition. Data scrolled, bioorganic signatures, metabolizing structure, not cutting, consuming. Kresh 9 went dark, all contacts severed. Captain Ven's fleet unghosted on her plot, kinetics chambered. Destroyer isolated, her TAC officer reported. No emissions. Good, Ven said. Rask conversion commencing. Kestrel reports 18% ingress. Ven targeted the coalition formation. Selective fire, push them toward the belt. Let the squad cook. Kestrel punched into the corridor. Alarms wailed now. Coalition crew scaled K-Arath Marines, poured in plasma lances hot. Fire! One barked. Bolts splashed Kestrel's hide. Chitin smoked but held. She extruded counterblades from repurposed bulkhead slag sharp, monomolecular. Squad fanned. One bio-soldier took a direct hit. Lance dissolved in mid-blast, fuel siphoned. The soldier reformed, lunging, stabbed the Marine. Fed, Kestrel vaulted a barricade, jaws clamped a bulkhead strut. Chew, swallow. Gut churned it to biomass, new limbs budded, spore pods inflating. Engine bay priority, she directed. Reactors untouched. Convert peripherals. Crew fell back. Grenades bounced off hides, enzymes neutralizing chem warheads. Kestrel's squad swelled, hull mass fueling growth. Corridors greened with vein mats, sprouting tendrils. Vosk's aux station buzzed. Fleetnet chatter exploded. Kresh 9 compromised, a frigate captain yowled. Bioforms inside there, eating the ship. Vosk's claws clicked console. Models crashed. Humans didn't board, they infested. Admiral Tarun, Vosk signaled. Abort intercept, unknown vector. Tarun's bridge feed overrode. The Admiral's spines bristled. Nonsense, one destroyer press the farm, secure silos. But data, execute. Tarun cut link. Status demanded victory. Humans quiet, weak. Kestrel breached engineering. Turbines hummed pristine. Protocol, power cores sacred. Feed on frames. Squad swarmed. Struts to muscle fiber cabling. Polymers to launch pods. Kresh 9 shuddered. Hull plates warped outward. Green blooms erupting. Rask's monitor pinged. Hull reconfiguration at 47%. Weapon analogs online. Confirm reactor stability, Rask said. Affirm output redirected. Ven's guns spoke. Rail slugs herded coalition cruisers toward the asteroid belt. Kresh 9 rose, engines reversed, now biomass-fueled microthrusters. Asset flipped, Ven noted. Target frigate pair. Fire on my mark. Kestrel hijacked the destroyer net. Squad, secure bridge, transmit harvest protocol. Converted guns swiveled. Slugs, now spore-cased, spewed. Frigate hulls peppered, green infection blooming. Subprefect Vosk sprinted corridors as his own ship's alarms howled. Drones fed final data. Kresh 9 turned, firing on allies. Bioforms not contained, spreading. Evac to Shuttle Bay, Vosk gasped. Frills limp, his certainty fractured. Humans farmed, silos below mere cover. Real harvest, coalition steel. Admiral Silex Tarun gripped his command throne. Bridge shook. Converted destroyer rammed his flank. Point defense, Tarun roared. Signal retreat. Too late. Kresh 9 bays yawned. Pods launched, not escape. Infectors. Tarun's marines repelled borders at airlocks. But these chewed through. Jaws ground hatches, no grapples, no charges. Vosk reached Oxbridge. Screens showed fleet chaos. 2 frigates greening. Kresh 9 voice, synthetic, calm, crackled fleetnet. All units join the harvest. Tarun smashed a console. Counterhack. Full barrage. Ven's fleet struck. Kinetics carved lanes. Her ships lean, efficient, wove the frenzy. No glory charges, just checklists. Rask adjusted inhibitors. Kestrel cap growth at 80%. Avoid cascade. Copy, biomass reserves full. Farm world orbitals lit with signals. Grain haulers doubled as drone carriers. Hidden biotech vats spat reinforcements. Kestrel's squad hungered. More alloys called. Belt rocks cracked open. Coalition hulks drifting ripe. Vosk transmitted surrender bursts. Data final. Invasion feasted upon itself. Captain Ven watched the route. Pragmatic, efficient, but Kestrel's eyes gleamed. Engines purred, next destroyer inbound. Harvest continues, SGT. Juno Rask twisted the inhibitor dial. Kestrel's squad froze mid-lunge, alloy shards crunching under their claws. Purge the toxic plating, Rask said. Convert to composite packs, full protocol. Kestrel's lead form shuddered. Green ichor bubbled from vents along its flank. The bio-soldier spat a glob of molten residue onto the deck. It hissed, eating through the captured alien hull plate. Rask checked the readouts on his wrist slate. Toxicity levels spiked. Kestrel's metabolism strained against the enemy ship's radiation-laced armor, standard coalition deterrent. Humans had mapped it years ago during first contact grain trades. Steady, Rask murmured. He adjusted the nutrient feed. No bravado, just calibration. Kestrel's maw widened. Jaws sheared another plate free. Enzymes flooded in. The squad's forms rippled, biomass reallocating. Waste vents sealed. Output ports dilated. Rask slotted empty charge packs under the ports. First one filled dense composite bricks laced with repurposed fission catalysts, ready for marine rifles. Growth capped at 70%, Kestrel rasped, voice a wet grind. Reserves stable. Good, Rask yanked the full packs free. He slapped them into a drone crate. Next squad processes the engines, route to Ven's barges. The squad swarmed the breached destroyer, corridors webbed with silk steel cables from their spinnerets. No waste. Every bolt fed the cycle. Rask keyed his comm. Captain Ven, K7 online, first shipment inbound. Captain Myra Ven gripped the freighter's jury-rigged command rail. Alarms blared as her repurposed grain hauler dodged plasma lances. Reassign hauler 4 and -9, she barked. Mobile feed barges, vector to salvage lanes, route all hulks to Dock Alpha. Her ops officer blinked. Ma'am, those are civvy tubs, no armor. Checklists don't care. Ven punched the plot. Freighters lumbered into position, magnetic grapples deploying. Drifting coalition wreckage, frigate bows, corvette drives clanged aboard. Ven watched the feeds. Kestrel's pods had cracked 3 more hulls overnight. Bio-soldiers swarmed inside, metabolizing from the inside out. No boarding tubes, no drama, just hunger. Engage evasion pattern Delta, she ordered. Her fleet, lean corvettes and refitted miners, wove through the chaos. Coalition heavies pounded empty orbitals, mistaking decoys for the real fight. A salvage drone latched onto a gutted enemy cruiser. Ven routed it to hidden repair docks in the farm world's rings. Asteroid hollows prepped during harvest drills. Biotech vats waited below decks, churning reinforcements from the scrap. Feed barges report full, Ops said. Kestrel's output spiking. Ven nodded. Arm the Marines, push the line. Unit Kestrel led the breach. Claws punched through a destroyer airlock. No explosives. Jaws rendered the hatch to slurry. Contact, Kestrel signaled. Marine squad followed, boots slick on ichor trails. Coalition troops fired from barricades. Plasma scorched Kestrel's hide. It ignored the burns. Biomass knit over wounds. Print munitions, Kestrel commanded its squad. Rear forms hunched output ports extruding fresh charge packs, hot from the purge still glowing. Marines grabbed them, rifles clicked open, packed the composites, slammed mags home. Fire discipline, the Marine sergeant yelled. These don't jam. Bolts ripped through alien cover. Coalition lines buckled. Kestrel's squad flanked, metabolizing barricades live. Polymers dissolved. Steel beams twisted into grapples. A Marine took a hit. Kestrel lunged, regurgitating sealant foam. Wound sealed, Marine fired on. Flank clear, Kestrel reported. Harvest 60% complete, Rask's voice cut in. Cap at 80, preserve for next. Kestrel obeyed, squad pulled back, dragging fresh alloy hauls. Destroyer groaned, bays yawning for extraction. Admiral Silex Tarun slammed his fist on the armrest. His flagship shuddered under kinetic impacts. Tighten the blockade, he roared. Concentrate all frigates coreward, no gaps, those boarding infections spread through the flanks. Subprefect HRL Vosk hunched over his aux console. Frills twitched. Data streams lied no more. Human farmers hijacked 3 destroyers. Bioabominations chewed hulls like chaff. Admiral scans confirm, Vosk said. Enemy freighters vectoring salvage, not fleeing, feeding. Tarun's eyes narrowed. Primitives, farmers with tricks, double the lances on those haulers. Bridge crew complied. Plasma grids lit the void. Ven's barges jinked, shedding drones as decoys. One freighter vented grain silos, chaff clouds blinding sensors. Tarun's Marines repelled another breach. Bioforms chewed airlocks. No grapples, jaws ground iris valves to paste. Evac those decks, Tarun ordered. Flush with hard vacuum. Vosk watched the plot. Human corvettes slipped the net. Lean hulls, efficient burns. No wasteful broadsides, just surgical strikes carving lanes for the infectors. Signal the coalition reserves, Tarun growled. Pincer from the belts, crush their docks. Vosk hesitated. Sir, those rocks hide something, biotech signatures. Farm sludge, Tarun waved it off. Status demanded victory. Retreat, unthinkable. Kestrel's squad burrowed deeper into the destroyer. Marine fire covered their feast. Charge packs flew from print port's endless supply. A Marine slapped Kestrel's flank. You're printing grenades now. Affirmative. Kestrel extruded spheres. Marines lobbed them. Bulkheads vaporized. Coalition reinforcements poured in. Tarun's elites armored, disciplined. They laid suppressing fire, hurting the bio squad. Kestrel adapted. Squad forms split, vents spewing acid fog. Marines advanced blind, guided by Kestrel's pings. Rask monitored from the barge. Inhibitors holding, push to engineering. Kestrel complied. Jaws clamped the reactor shielding. Toxins surged, Rask force-fed neutralizers via drone. Purge complete, Kestrel growled. Output fusion-grade packs. Marines loaded heavies. Ven's voice fleet-wide. All units consolidate salvage, second wave launches. Tarun's pincer closed. Reserves hammered the belts. Asteroids cracked. Hidden docks exposed, vats bubbling with half-formed squads. Got them, Tarun crowed. Full barrage. Ven's corvettes danced away. Feed barges retreated, bloated with loot. Kestrel's infected hulks turned, Kresh 9 among them firing on the pincers. Vosk's screens fractured, 3 reserves greened. Bioforms leaped ship to ship, webbing across voids. Admiral, disengage, Vosk started. Tarun overrode. Press, their ammo runs dry. But human rifles barked endless. Grenades bloomed from digested steel. Marines boarded fresh hulks armed by the enemy itself. Kestrel eyed the next prize, Tarun's flank cruiser, engines primed. Handler biomass optimal, request release. Rask checked protocols. Approved, 90% cap, harvest the flagship. Tarun's bridge alarms screamed. A shadow loomed, his own destroyer, bays wide, pods inbound. Not escape, infectors. Point defense, all power. Tarun bellowed, too late. Kestrel hit the hull, jaws bit. Marines followed, packs glowing. Vosk transmitted data bursts. Fleetnet choked with surrenders. Ven watched from her bridge. Checklists ticked green. Freighters brimmed. Docks refilled, but Kestrel signaled. Core target engaged, output exceeding projections. She smiled faintly, pragmatic, efficient. Tarun smashed the console. Counterhack, burn them out. Kestrel's squad hungered deeper. Flagship steel called, the frenzy peaked. Subprefect HRL Vosk slammed his primary claw on the console. Data streams flickered across his holoscreen, tracing blackout cascades from Kresh 9 to the flank cruiser. 3 more hulls went dark in sequence, power grids severed, comms silenced. No explosions, no debris fields. Just voids where ships should respond. Pattern confirmed, Vosk hissed to his analysts. Consumption corridor, bioforms propagate along ventral armor seams, predictable vector, hull plating to fuel manifolds. His secondary eyes locked on the overlay. Human corvettes darted through the gap, unmolested. The corridor sliced Admiral Tarun's formation like a gut wound. Vosk keyed Fleetnet priority burst. Admiral, reroute reserves, seal the corridor. Bioinfestations follow structural weak points. Tarun's voice crackled back, laced with fury. Analyst, your predictions exposed our nests. Now you map shadows, press the attack. Vosk's mandibles clicked in frustration. Screens updated, 4 greened reserves flipped hostile. Infected hulks webbed bioforms across the void, leaping ship to ship. Humans consolidated salvage, feed barges bloating with alien scrap. Vosk traced the next projection. Flagship vulnerable in 10 cycles. Captain Mara then gripped her command rail. Corvettes exploit the corridor. Sling Alpha wing through, target command relays, Beta covers. Her bridge crew punched vectors. Holotax lit green. Ven's fleet danced the gap Vosk had mapped, corvettes whipping past infected hulks on slingshot burns. Enemy point defense stuttered, relays blacked out in their wake. Relay 1 down, her TAC officer reported. Pincer flank blinded. Ven nodded once. Press to relay 2, logistics checklist, salvage tethers holding. Green, ma'am, barges at 80% capacity. No waste, no heroics. Just checklists ticking. Her screens showed Kestrel's signal pulsing from Tarun's flagship, output exceeding projections. Ven allowed a tight smile, pragmatic. The alien reserves hammered empty belts now, cracking asteroids to dust. Hidden human docks refilled, vats churning fresh squads from digested loot. Enemy formation fractured. Ven keyed open channel. All units consolidate gains, second wave preps. SGT. Juno Rask sealed the launch tube. Unit K7 Kestrel squad crouched in the pod, biomass humming at 90% optimal. Hull-to-hull crawl protocols locked in, no chatter, no signatures. Target, carrier tender portside, Rask ordered, voice flat as plasteel. Silent ingress, consume fuel line valves, vent to vacuum. Cap at 85% output, no overruns. Kestrel's lead, Unit K7 Alpha tilted its faceless helm. Engineered eyes gleamed with metabolic fire. Protocols acknowledged handler, biomass primed, release on mark. Rask punched the eject. Pod streaked silent from the infected destroyer, mag clamps firing on contact. Tender's hull loomed, a bloated beast servicing fighters mid-frenzy. No alarms tripped. Kestrel squad deployed in sequence, bioadhesives webbing them to the ventral seam. Rask monitored from the destroyer bridge. Vitals streamed clean. Crawl initiated, silent running. Inside the tender, Kestrel Alpha led the squad along the fuel manifold trench. Jaws unhinged, enzyme sprays softened alloy valves. No grind of cutters, just wet dissolution. Polymers bubbled into slurry, siphoned into squad reservoirs. Beta unit flanked, metabolizing polymer seals. Gamma-webbed britches shut behind them. Valve cluster 1 breached, Kestrel Alpha signaled, subsonic ping only. Fuel lines hissed, pressure spiking. Crew quarters above thrummed oblivious. Alien techs refueled drones, voices buzzing over internal comms. Kestrel ignored them. Protocols, hardware first. Biomass conversion hit 72%. Vosk's holoscreen shattered with new alerts. Carrier tender's power signature flatlined. Fuel bays vented in controlled bursts, plasma plumes licking vacuum, fighters adrift. Another blackout, Vosk barked. Tender offline, bioforms inside now, hull integrity dropping. Tarun's flagship loomed central, Marines boarding via glowing packs. Vosk's claws shredded his station padding. Admiral, the corridor feeds their slingshots. Disengage flanks, regroup on core. Silence, Tarun roared over Fleetnet. My cruiser holds, reserves counterhack the infestations, burn them out. Vosk pulled auxiliary scans. Human corvettes struck Relay 3, pincer command severed. Infected hulks turned en masse, rifles barking endless from digested steel. Grenades bloomed, forged from enemy polymers. Bioforms leaped voids, webbing the formation. Data point by data point, Vosk's certainty eroded. Humans didn't fight like prey, they consumed. Kestrel Alpha chewed through the tender's core valve bank. Enzymes flooded the system. Fuel ignited in microbursts, vents ripping wide. The carrier shuddered, bays cracking open to space. Fighters tumbled out, engines cold. Disable complete, Kestrel signaled Rask. Output at 82%. Biomass surplus, 14 tons repurposed. Next vector, Rask checked protocols. Regroup to destroyer, harvest complete on tender. Squad retracted, bellies swollen with alloys. They crawled hull to hull, shadows in the frenzy. Tender's crew never screamed, only systems failed in sequence. Alarms wailed empty corridors, life support choked. Bulkheads groaned, Ven's bridge updated, tender icon greened for salvage. Barges inbound. Kestrel reports surplus. Logistics green, Ven confirmed. Prep third wave, flagship next. Taran smashed his console again. Bridge shook, Kestrel squad breached the inner hull. Jaws bit deeper, Marines flooding bays with glowing packs. Point defense to maximum. Vent the sections. Vosk transmitted final bursts. Fleetnet choked, surrenders cascading. His screens showed the consumption corridor widen, human corvettes slingshotting free. Admiral, Taran whirled, eyes manic. Press, their tricks end here, but Kestrel hungered. Flagship steel sang to them. Squad output spiked, protocols be damned. The frenzy peaked, alien hardware turning feast for human resilience. Vosk's primary screen blanked. His own ship's lights flickered. A ventral seam creaked. Bioforms inbound. No screams echoed the fleet. Only the hush of failing systems, one hull at a time. Admiral Silex Tarun slammed his fist on the armrest. Nanite fog, full dispersal. All ships, hot hull currents, maximum. Bridge crew scrambled. Consoles lit with confirmations. Gray mist erupted from every ventral port, swarming the void like predatory smoke. Enemy corvettes twisted away, but the fog clung, seeking breaches. Hulls glowed red-hot, currents surging to fry borders. Tarun leaned forward. That ends their boarding game. Pursuit formation closed the net. Subprefect H.R. Al Vosk gripped his station. His screen flickered back online, ventral sensors screaming breach. Bioforms, those human abominations, crawled inward, ignoring the heat. Admiral, my hull integrity at 47%. Recommend pullback on my vector. Denied, Tyrone barked. Your ship holds the flank, fog will shred them. Vosk transmitted squad data. Swarms of gray nanites latched onto the bioforms. They should dissolve flesh on contact. Instead, the creatures, pulsed, swallowed the mist. Hull currents peaked 200 degrees, but the borders burrowed deeper, skins steaming yet unyielding. SGT. Juno Rask floated in the breached corridor, mag boots locked. Kestrel squad huddled behind her, vents hissing recycled air. Nanite fog billowed thick, alarms blaring toxin warnings. Switching to fast metabolism, Rask said. She punched the override on her wrist panel. Kestrel consume the fog, full intake. It's feedstock now. Unit K7 Kestrel tilted its head, multifaceted eyes gleaming. Protocol acknowledged. Metabolic rate 400%. Nanites compatible carbon lattice trace metals digesting. The squad opened intake vents. Gills flared along necks and torsos. Fog funneled in, gray turning clear as enzymes shredded it. Bodies swelled slightly, alloys recycling into fresh biomass. Kestrel's squadmate designation V3 burped a puff of inert gas. Surplus, 2.7 kilos per unit. Hull current tolerable, rerouting to carapace. Rask nodded once. Push forward, bridge priority. No cheers, just motion. Squad scuttled on, jaws unhinging for the next bulkhead. Hot metal sizzled on contact, but they chewed through, repurposing the melt. Captain Mara Ven watched her tactical holomap. Alien lines surged, nanite fog blotting sensors. Her fleet, outnumbered, outgunned, danced the feint. Helm Vector 180, signal barges, debris field alpha. Ven's voice stayed level. Make it look desperate. Corvettes arced back, engines flaring erratic. Alarms pinged, simulated damage. The alien pursuit bit hard, Tarun's heavies plunging after. Ven tapped comms. Rask status, inner decks, fog neutralized, Kestrel at 91% output. Rask's feed showed squad knowing power conduits. Sparks died as they integrated wiring. Good, third wave preps on your mark. Ven eyed the map. Farm world debris, shredded harvesters, silo hulls, tractor frames littered the field ahead. She'd minded herself, charges from irrigation pumps, shrapnel from plows, primitive, effective. Enemy sensors pierced the junk. Tarun's flagship led the charge, weapons hot. Subprefect Vosk's bulkhead buckled. Kestrel squad poured through, limbs elongating into blades. His Marines fired plasma lances, gore sprayed, but the bioforms knit wounds mid-stride, devouring spent casings. Admiral, retreat signal. Human pullback is bait, debris field readings off-scale, Vosk yelled into Fleetnet. Scans showed jagged metal clouds laced with energy spikes. Trap, Tarun's hologram snarled. Your paranoia weakens us, Vosk. Fog has them reeling. We gut their carriers now. Vosk's claws scraped console. Data confirms 73% probability ambush, my ship. A Kestrel unit lunged. Vosk fired his sidearm. The bolt splashed harmless, flesh absorbing it. Jaws clamped his leg. Pain lanced, no scream. Just data, enzymes invading, alloys repurposed from his armor. Bridge feed cut. Vosk's last transmission looped. Break pursuit. Break. Tarun ignored it. All guns target their lead carrier. His fleet hit the debris. Farm machinery erupted, plow blades whipped at 5G, shearing antennae. Tractor fuselages detonated, plasma charges from fuel cells ripping engines. A destroyer buckled, hull split by harvester tines. Damage reports, Tarun roared, sensors flooded red. Nanite fog backwashed, useless against the junk storm. Ven's bridge hummed. Debris field engaged, enemy formation disordered, Rask. Flagship bridge secured, Rask replied. Kestrel's squad tore through Tarun's command deck. Officers scattered, but the bio-soldiers herded them into bays. No kills, protocols, contain, repurpose ship. Kestrel gnashed a console. Core access, fusion bottle stable, output spike 120%. Tarun whirled from his shattered holomap. Bioforms filled vents, eyes locked on him. You, primitives, Fog should have, Rask's voice crackled over captured speakers. Fog was lunch, hull currents, snack, your fleet's the menu now. Tarun lunged for emergency purge. Kestrel intercepted, pinning him. Squad vents opened wide, they didn't eat him. They ate the ship around him, frame by frame, system by system. Ven's map greened. One by one, alien icons flipped, salvageable. Barges in, harvest complete on 5 hulls, Kestrel extract. Acknowledged, Kestrel signaled. Squad retracted, bellies bloated with enemy steel. They slithered out airlocks, leaving gutted shells drifting. Tarun's final order died unsent. His bridge fused into biomass slurry piped to human corvettes. Vosk awoke in a containment pod. Human medtech scanned him, no dissection, just quarantine. His translator buzzed. Subprefect, your data's valuable. Captain Ven's face filled the screen. Join the menu or help us digest the rest. He stared. Humans hadn't poisoned the fog, they'd eaten it. Turned invasion into fuel. Outside, Kestrel's squad latched onto the next cruiser. Jaws widened. Fast metabolism hummed. The frenzy spread. Captain Ven plotted the counterstrike. Barges swelled with repurposed alloy. Farm world's useless machinery rebuilt into fangs. Alien remnants scattered. Too late. Humans added countermeasures to the menu. Rask monitored vitals. Kestrel surplus at 47 tons. Next target. Coalition battle line, Kestrel replied. They run hot, perfect feedstock. Ven smiled faintly. Logistics green. Invasion inverted. Subprefect Vosk watched his fleet dissolve. One data point at a time, certainty crumbled. Humans didn't fight like soldiers. They farmed the war. Captain Ven's console lit with targeting locks. Agri-tugs fire. Civilian haulers, stubby, rust-streaked workhorses from the farm world's orbitals, lurched forward. Their tractor mass drivers, built to sling ore asteroids, spat dense sabot rounds. Chunks of refined iridium tungsten alloy screamed toward the alien vanguard. Enemy cruisers loomed on her tactical display, kilometer-long wedges of polished alloy, engines glowing blue-white. Coalition battle language crackled over intercepted channels, demands for surrender from the primitive agri-colony. Ven ignored it. Her fleet corvettes hung back, engines cold, logistics first. Impact in 3, Kestrel teams stand by for debris harvest. Sabot slugs punched home. Engine bells shattered under kinetic fury. Plasma vented in golden plumes. Alien hulls buckled, debris fields blooming like metallic flowers. Direct hits on 5 targets, her sensor chief reported. Breach confirmations across the board. Ven nodded. No cheers, just checkboxes ticking green. Tugs recycle and reload. Rask, your dog's hungry. SGT. Rask's voice cut through, steady as a drill sergeant's cadence. Kestrel lead inbound, ETA 2 minutes to primary debris. Unit K7 Kestrel clamped mag boots to the shattered engine nacelle. Vacuum hummed against its armored hide. The Bio-Soldier Squad, 7 figures, each 2 meters of engineered muscle and gut, scanned the wreckage. Hull metal steamed, half-molten. Polymers dripped from ruptured conduits. Perfect. Kestrel's primary maw split wide, jaws of serrated enamel, vat grown for this. It lunged, teeth sheared through durasteel plates. Enzymes flooded its gut, breaking bonds at molecular speed. Consuming, Kestrel signaled Rask. Squad mates fanned out bellies distending as they gorged. Tungsten alloy dissolved into slurry. Carbon polymers unraveled into feedstock. No waste. Human biotech discipline at work. Kestrel's secondary orifices extruded boarding spines, razor shafts of repurposed enemy metal laced with monofilament barbs, spines locked rigid 10 meters long. Spines formed, Kestrel reported. Jump prep complete. Debris field cleared in 90 seconds. Kestrel squad detached, spines thrusting like lances toward the breached cruiser. Magnetic accelerators in their legs fired. They crossed void in controlled arcs, spines punching fresh holes in the hull, boarding clamps engaged. Airlocks breached. Alarms wailed inside. Kestrel tore through bulkheads. Coalition Marines, scaled, four-armed, met them with plasma lances. Bolts splashed off bioceramic hides. One squad mate took a hit. Flesh bubbled. It kept advancing, metabolizing the wound into scar tissue mid-stride. Kestrel's spines impaled a damage control team. They retracted, hauling corpses inside for processing. Hull 5 secured for harvest. Internal teams splitting. SGT. Rask watched the holotank from her command drop pod orbiting the farm world. 5 alien hulls blinked red on her overlay, Kestrel bites simultaneous precise. Unit K7 holds secondary bays. Units K8 through K11 mirror on targets 2 through 5. Biosoldiers swarmed from drop pods, spines bridging the gaps. Enemy damage crews scattered, vectoring to multiple breaches. Coalition TACnet fragmented under the strain. Rask tapped vitals feeds, heart rate steady, enzyme levels optimal. Kestrel mass intake, 20 tons per squad, Kestrel replied, extruding counterboarding spines. Enemy response delayed 12%, she keyed fleet-wide. Ven bites landed, they're peeling off repair teams, fleet cohesion down 30. Ven's reply snapped back. Good, press the split, tugs inbound for second salvo. Rask adjusted drop vectors. Biosquads burrowed deeper, gullets grinding bulkheads into biomass. Alien screams echoed over suit pickups cut short. One hull's engines flared erratically. It tried to maneuver. Kestrel's squad rode the deck, spines anchoring. They consumed the drive core from inside. Target 3 neutralized, Rask logged. Harvest yield projected at 80%. Her console pinged, coalition command traffic spiking, panic in the bursts. Subprefect H.R. Vosk gripped his station as the deck shuddered. Alarms blared, breaches on decks 7, 9, and 12. Damage reports, Admiral Silex Tarun bellowed from the command dais. His frills flared crimson, status assertion in full display. Vosk's screens filled with horror. Human farm tugs had gutted forward engines. Now boarding parties, impossibly fast, chewed through hulls. Scans showed organic masses metabolizing metal. Admiral, recommend immediate retreat to Rally Point Gamma, Vosk broadcast fleet-wide. His voice steady, data unassailable. Human assets hijack our mass. 5 hulls compromised, damaged teams overstretched. Tarun's eyes narrowed, mandibles clicking. Retreat, to primitives, we outgun this dirt world 10-1. Vosk patched visuals, bioforms extruding spines from debris. Enemy corvettes loomed, silent till now. Sir, they're civilians weaponized haulers, tractor drivers as railguns, boarding units consume our alloys, real-time repurposing. Crew gasped. A breach alarm howled closer. Marines reported contacts, things that ate through armor, shrugging plasma. Tarun slammed a talon down. Decisive stand, concentrate fire on those tugs, flank the corvettes, show these mammals coalition might. Vosk certainty fractured. Data points piled, human logistics inverted. No grand charges, just checklists feeding. Orders relayed, he acknowledged. But his private log auto-sent, invasion parameters invalid. Humans farm war itself. The deck buckled, biospines punched through, Kestrel's squad flooded the bridge, Tarun drew his sidearm. Repel, Vosk dove for an escape pod, too late, jaws closed. Captain Ven watched the alien formation splinter. Tugs slung second salvos, sabot clouds bloomed. Her map updated, 5 hulls dark, drifting hulks, Kestrel signals green, bloated with feedstock. "Rask, extract on my mark," Ven said. "Barges inbound." Agri-barges' vast harvest platforms swarmed the wrecks, grapples latched, cutting torches hummed. Inside Kestrel's gut, enemy steel churned. Outputs piped to barges, refined plates, ammo slugs, spine stock. "Harvest complete on 5 hulls, Rask confirmed. Kestrel, retract." Biosquad slithered out airlocks, bellies full. Gutted shells tumbled free. Ven's fleet stirred. Corvettes accelerated, fangs grown from alien bones. Intercepts caught Tarun's last gasp, a futile rally order. His cruiser fused into slurry, siphoned to human holds. One survivor pinged, Subprefect Vosk potted and quarantined. Ven's face appeared on his screen. "Subprefect, your data's valuable. Join the menu or help us digest the rest." Vosk stared through the haze, no poison in the air. Humans ate the fog, turned invasion to fuel. Outside, Kestrel latched the next cruiser. Jaws parted, metabolism roared, the frenzy spread. Ven plotted Phase 2. Barges swelled with alloy, farm tools birthed warships. Alien remnants fled, countermeasures queued, Rask checked levels. Kestrel, surplus 47 tons. "Next, Coalition battle line," Kestrel said. "Hot reactors, prime feedstock." Logistics green, farm world fangs bared. Subprefect Vosk watched his fleet melt. Data point by data point, truth emerged. Humans didn't wage war, they harvested it. Captain Ven punched the isolation protocol. Decoy jammers bloomed across the battle space like false heat signatures. Coalition cruisers ghosted into silence, their tight beam links severed. Tarun's flagship hung exposed, a lone predator cut from the pack. "Flagship isolated," her TAC officer reported. "No chatter out, decoys holding." Ven nodded once. Her fleet corvettes held position, engines cold, no wasteful charges, logistics first. "Rask, your green, insert now." SGT. Juno Rask gripped the drop pod's harness. Bioseals hissed around her suit. Kestrel squad coiled below, engineered bodies packed tight, muscle over alloy gut, jaws primed for polymers. The pod shuddered through void, radiator trench approach vector locked. "Pod away," Rask said into her comm. "Kestrel, protocols alpha. Breach on contact, cortical route, no deviations." Unit K7 Kestrel lead flexed its primary mandibles. The squad's 7 biotech operatives, each a walking foundry, vibrated in sync. Insertion fins deployed. They slammed into the flagship's aft radiator trench, graphene scales scraping heat sinks. No alarms yet. Enemy hull groaned under impact. "Breached," Kestrel signaled. Voice modulator flat mission locked. Squad slithered inside, bellies contracting for intake. Coolant pipes burst. Rask followed last, carbine raised, protocols checklist ticking in her HUD. Subprefect HRL Vosk's console lit red. "Boarding alert, stern section, minimal mass signature." He cross-checked sensors. No shuttles, no explosives bloom, just movement. Organic pings, faint but multiplying. "Admiral," Vosk barked. "Intruders in radiator trench, human profiles, recommend purge protocols." Admiral Silex Tarun sneered from the bridge hollow. His mandibles clicked status assertion. "Farm world rabble, vent the trench." "Resume rally formation." Vosk hesitated. Data streams flickered. Humans hadn't fired a shot in hours. Quiet fleets didn't win wars. He keyed the vent sequence. Nothing. Pressure locks held. Inside the trench, Kestrel squad burrowed forward. Jaws sheared conduits. Polymers dissolved in acid baths, alloys chunked into gizzard mills. First output, bioforged grapples anchoring their advance. "Power bus ahead," Rask said. She scanned schematics stolen from first contact probes. Kestrel full consumption, disrupt cascade. Kestrel lead plunged mandibles into the primary bus. Titanium conduits parted like foil. Electricity arced, harmless against insulated hides. Squad bellies swelled. Enemy power surged through them, hydrosils metabolized, fusion taps rerouted. Outputs piled, refined cabling power cells for human use. Alarms wailed shipwide. Vosk's station bucked, lights dimmed. "Bus failure, cascade propagating, engineering dark, weapons offline," Tarun roared. "Counterboard, all squads to breach." Marines poured into corridors. Coalition grunts armored in kinetic weave, lasers hot. They met Kestrel first. Biosquad lead reared, secondary limbs whipped. One grunt crumpled, armor chewed through mid-stride. Squad flanked, jaws snapping. Polymers from bulkheads fueled mid-fight regions, limbs regrew, hides thickened. Grunts fired. Rounds pinged off scales, harvested for slugs. Rask covered from a junction. Suppress left flank. Her carbine barked precise bursts. Protocols held. Biotroops as tools, not heroes. Kestrel squad pressed. Bell is grinding louder. Power bus fully offline. Flagship reactors starved. Vosk clutched his console. Systems flatlined one by one. Shields, drives, fleet links. Remaining coalition ships blinked queries. No response. His meticulous models shattered. Humans didn't board, they consumed. Emergency surrender, Vosk transmitted. Coalition codes flashed wide. All units stand down, flagship compromised. Tyroon's bridge feed cut. Vosk alone in intel pod, seals locked. A human face appeared, Captain Ven, calm eyes on his screen. "We're just farmers, subprefect," she said, no smile, fact only. "Your fleets are harvest, yield, or join the silo." Vosk's vents heaved, data points aligned. Biotech signatures matched old probes, farm world resilience programs, hidden, disciplined. They turned invasion hulls to feedstock. Outside his pod, scraping echoed. Kestrel's squad chewed forward. Captain Ven watched the grid. Tyroon's flagship went dark. Sensors cleared debris noise. One signature resolved, human boarding team, mass signatures climbing, chewing forward, bio readouts spiking on recycled power. "Rask status," Ven said. "Core consumed," Rask replied. "Keel breached, outputs streaming to barges." Kestrel requests next target. Ven's lips thinned, fleet stirred, agri-barges lumbered in, grapples extended. Vast harvest platforms retrofitted for void. They latched the gutted flagship. Cutting torches, biofueled, now hummed alive. Subprefect Vosk pounded his pod controls. Surrender code looped. No reply from fleet remnants. His screen split, Ven's face and a live feed from breached corridors. Kestrel squad dragged Tyroon's marines unconscious, webbed in biosilk for quarantine. "Data valuable," Ven repeated. "Help us digest the rest." Vosk keyed compliance. Pride cracked. Humans farmed war like grain, SGT. Rask oversaw extraction. Kestrel squad retracted through airlocks, bellies distended. 40 tons surplus already, alloys refined, polymers spun to composites. Barges hummed, siphoning slurry. "Harvest on flagship," Rask logged. "Cascade shutdown confirmed, fleet remnants blind." Ven accelerated corvettes. Enemy cruisers milled, rally orders lost in the jam. Intercepts caught panic bursts. One ship powered hot, Tyroor's last gasp, fusion drive flaring. "Prime feedstock," Kestrel said over comm. Squad coiled for drop 2. Ven marked it. "Rask vector set, phase 2 green." Barges swelled. Farm tools birthed fangs, new spines forged from coalition bones. Alien remnants scattered. Human logistics turned frenzy. Subprefect Vosk's pod latched to a barge. Quarantine fields hummed. He watched through haze. No poison. Humans ate the fog, turned ships to fuel. Kestrel latched the next cruiser. Jaws parted. Metabolism roared. Vosk transmitted logs. Truth in data. Humans didn't fight. They harvested. Captain Ven plotted the battle line. Barges full. Corvettes armed. Farm world fangs bared. "Next," she said. "All in." Rask checked levels. Kestrel surplus confirmed. Battle line reactors hot prime. Squad deployed. Void filled with chews. Coalition fled. Countermeasures queued too late. Vosk recorded final ping. "Farmers," he muttered. His models rewrote themselves. Ven's fleet pursued. Harvest spread. Unit Kestrel burrowed deeper. Power buses snapped. Another flagship dark. Sensors showed only one thing, humans chewing forward. Bellies full, outputs endless. Rask signaled ready. "Logistics green." Ven pushed throttles. Invasion reversed. Feedstock flowed. Tyroor's cruiser fused to slurry, siphoned clean. One pod survived. Vosk's. He stared at Ven's face. "Join the menu?" "Or help," she said. He chose data. Fleet melted around him. Farmers won, one bite at a time.